and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to get them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, is it we got to be dogs.
And there we are. We're live. Welcome, everyone, to the Afterburn Soccer Show. We're talking FC Dallas. We're talking North Texas Soccer Club tonight. We've had a pretty impactful 24 hours of soccer last weekend for the FC Dallas organization. We're going to get into it. I'm your host, Nathan. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer over on X and find me on Blue Sky and, of course, on Substack at afterburn.soccer. But we're welcomed again tonight by, of course, our good friends, our regulars, Jose at El Chico Carmona.
Hello.
Mr. Couve, Colin Couvert at Mr. Couve.
Yes, sir.
And welcome back, who joined us last week, Chris Winter at C. Wintus. Good to see. Actually, good to hear your voice, Chris, on the post game with after North Texas's victory. That was good. We'll get to that in just a little bit here. But let's start with Friday night. Let's just start with this broken record that is FC Dallas at this point. Broken record, guys. Hey, 3 goals. And, boy, they were fun goals. Fun goals to watch. Musa gets a goal, and just a classic, a professional goal. Just high quality. Farrington gets 2 goals. It's been looming for the guy. He hasn't quite been where he's wanted to be, maybe in the form. But meanwhile, then the defense. The defense gives up an early goal, gives up another goal. The team takes a lead into half against New York City FC, who hey, respect. They have some talented attackers. Couve, as you mentioned last week, and they got going. And then in the second half, 2 goals from New York City FC to claim all 3 points. It was disappointing. It was disappointing to see this once again. So I don't know, where do we want to start on that, Couve? Why don't we just start with you and your feels about what you saw on Friday night?
So Friday night, I was actually unable to make it to the game. Had to work a shift here at in Wichita for my job, and thankfully we were slow and I was able to watch the game. And I remember the group chat kind of firing off for watching the first goal go in, because it was the 11th minute. So I was a little bit late to the game on. It was 11th minute, and then we scored in the 15th and the 17th. And I was like, as soon as we scored 2 goals that quick back to back, I knew it was probably going to be a shootout at that point. And I literally looked at my coworker, and I looked at Andy, and I told her, I was like, so how much would I bet we lose this game somehow, 5-4, 4-3, and Martinez, like I said, gets a hat trick, because she every once in a while she'll watch the replays on YouTube or whatever. And I was like, yeah, why not? And just see what happens. She thought it'd be hilarious, and sure enough, as we were closing the store Friday night, she was correct in her guess, and I was correct in my, not correct in my score prediction, but correct in my if Alonso Martinez gets started early, he's gonna cook. And sure enough, 23rd, 46th, and then capped it off in the 84th. And it's not for lack of trying. I mean, second half is definitely a bit of a drop off from the first half. I just don't see how Martin doesn't save 1 or 2 of those shots that went in either. I don't see how Musa doesn't finish 1 or 2 chances. I just don't understand why we put Kappas at wingback. But it's some questionable things. Why we put in Lucho? I understand, like, quote unquote best player with ability on the team, but looking at kind of jump ahead on what we're going to talk about. Looking at how good Siki played Saturday, you don't want to put that on the field and have his work effort be on the field because literally Tiki might not be the best technical player or the best player on the field, but he's going to do what Quill wants, which is to run his butt off and die for the badge. And he hasn't gotten any minutes, so it's just very questionable substitutions and tactics from Quill, and we ended up paying for it. I'm not surprised, but yeah, not surprised at all.
Yeah, not surprised. Jose, your thoughts on the loss at home?
Well, first of all, Coop's got an echo on. I can hear it when he's talking. I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but I am.
I think I got it turned off. Sorry about that.
All right. All right. So, I think Coop's being a little too kind. It's a tale of two halves. The first half's the 3-2, fantastic game. We were all feeling it. And the second half is just, you know, 2-0. Two goals to them. FC Dallas basically. I want to say, we all want to say, it's easy to say that Quill got the substitutions wrong, but I believe his whole game plan was to switch formation, and his hand was forced with how Torquato was being. But he's a young kid. He's bound to have a bad game. He had a really bad first half, and I think it forced him Quill to bring in Kappas sooner than he wanted to. And yes, it's odd that he'd be played as a wingback coming in, but I believe the game plan was to eventually switch to a four in the back, and bringing in Farfan. It just that's what it looked like. But for whatever reason, he didn't do it right away, and I think that really hurt the team. So I think my issue is more with the timing of the substitutions. Anyway, you slice it, he got the substitutions wrong. I'm just disagreeing in how I'm saying it was some of them were forced on him, and he didn't. I don't think he handled it well. And we've seen that before. We've seen him struggle with his substitution pattern. And in a game like this, like I said, it's a tale of two halves. We all had a great time in the first half. We all went to halftime feeling very good about ourselves, and then we all left the game feeling the opposite. So, and a lot of that had to do with with that. I think he wanted to change formations, and I don't know why he didn't do it right away. If he was going to bring Kappas, because I think that hurt the team. I think that the team playing uh, three in the back and just it just felt like they weren't on the same page in the second half. And I don't want to blame that on Kappas. I just think it's the choice of formation. And if you're going to switch to four in the back, you should just commit to it right away.
Yeah, it was a puzzling. I mean, I didn't know that was in Campus's game. Maybe he's played there some, in the past. And it's just something I didn't see about. I mean, but yeah, it was a bit puzzling to see was when Farfan is sitting there on the bench. I don't know if they're watching Farfan's minutes or what. So, Chris, any thoughts from you on this Friday night loss for FC Dallas?
I mean, yeah, it's a frustrating. The first half, amazing. It's fun to watch. 3-2, Farrington, looked great. Offensively, things were churning pretty well. I appreciate Jose calling out the Torquato. Kind of missing the first half. I felt like that was the only kind of thing that FC Dallas was lacking in the first half specifically. And then you bring on Lucho in the second half, and he, in theory, should be an offensive substitution, but 2-0 shut out in the second half. That's, a rough go for things. So I don't know what you guys think about Lucho as a whole going forward, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people kind of feel the same way of, ready to move on, ready to find someone else to fill in the spot, but can be frustrating to watch at times.
Yeah, that Lucho came on, and I think, I remember he hustled back quickly on a defensive play to put in some defensive effort. So it's like maybe he got the message that Quill's like, man, we need more from you. But then in the course of that, he ends up fouling a guy out there on the right wing in a pretty good spot. It's like, that's not, but, and he did it another 2 times. It's just like this guy doesn't fit. And if you're gonna have him out there, he needs to be way up the field, ready to spring an attack. To be ready for that. But Quill needs guys who are going to help cover this back line, who are going to put in that full shift all over the field. That's why he said at the very beginning of the season. And so Lucho just not he's not going to do that, or at least even do it with any passable skill. So yeah, I just don't know how you. I don't know that the FC Dallas organization, let me put it this way, and not that this is a slight, but after all the effort they put in to get him to Dallas, I just don't know that they're going to admit quickly that this soon that they've got it wrong. So, Jose, Colin, you think?
I actually, like I said, it's his first year coach, and maybe they expected this, maybe they expected the troubles, and they have this window to fix some of the team's issues. I'm not, they brought Kappas in. I'm very happy about that. They're bringing in a winger. Still no center back. I think we're all screaming, "Hey, center back!" And I wanted to add that I was puzzled that they brought in Farfan to play three in the back when they brought him in, and I don't understand why they didn't bring Augusto in, because that New York was terrorizing Abubakar and Ibiaga. They were just, I don't know how many times they just went straight at him right down the middle or try to go over the top of them, and they kept doing it over and over and over again. And I just feel like Augusto would have been better fit for that with his height and athleticism. Uh, but you bring Farfan in, and I just didn't get that. That, like I said, back to the puzzling substitution patterns. But these are mistakes that a first year manager is going to make, and it's growing pains. And like I said, my only issue with it is I like to get some clarification from the club. Is he on the hot seat? Hey, Dan Hunt, is Quill on the hot seat, or is this you have the whole year, your job's not on the line, and then next year we'll see how things go. That's all I want. I would like some clarification from the ownership, uh, be it Hunt or maybe Sonata or somebody in charge to say no, Quill is not on the hot seat, or say yeah, he needs to get us to the playoffs, and that's the minimum we expect him to get there, or he's going to be gone. Give the fans some clarification so we know, because we're all games like this, at home, very frustrating, and yeah, some many of the fans have the right to demand that Quill be replaced because of the performances at home, entertaining or not.
Well, that's good. But I was kind of asking about Lucho.
Well, I got carried away there, but Lucho, I've already said last week that I think the run the team made without him tells you that maybe they should be looking, to move on from him. I actually, my thing on Lucho is apparently he did something after the game. I wasn't at the game, but I know that a lot of the supporters were upset about how he interacted with them or some of the things he did. I don't know the details, but just from someone, just catching it on social media and whatnot, it didn't sound good, and it doesn't sound like this guy is making any. It sounds honestly like a guy who's maybe getting ready to force his way out of Dallas. In all honesty, if you're asking me.
Yeah, Colin.
He needs to be gone. That's all I'm going to say. Like there's no other like thing, right? So the altercation or whatever that Jose is talking about, basically at the end of the match, fans were from the supporter section were giving their displeasure, which has been a consistent thing besides the St. Louis win. And even then, it was like Sarver came over and was clapped. Like players that give an effort were clapped. Whenever Lucho made his way to the tunnel, supporters gave their opinions. No cursing or rude statements. I would say just your casual needs to be better. You were our captain. You're our quote unquote like best technical player. Like you're supposed to be like the guy. Like it has to be better. And Lucho at first, when he first heard it, was like, "Yeah, sure," like clapping, like, "Yes, I know," kind of taking it on the chin, on the chest, and just moving on like he normally does. And then a couple other fans started booing, and it kind of just turned into boos. And he kind of fired back with some choice words in Spanish that I will not say on the broadcast. But yeah, it was very much a pissed off reaction, which, I mean, you're a professional. You're supposed to be better than that. But at the same time, as a normal human, I understand you can make that mistake of letting emotions get the best of you. Lucho does seem to be a very emotional player in person, which can be well on the field and also hurt you on the field. But I mean, like Jose said, the team has played well without him. Um, we don't need him. We play more as a team without him. When we have him in the game, it's you could tell at the beginning of the season how it worked. It was him and Musa basically trying to play hero ball, and everyone else just get to a decent position to try and help if they're getting double teamed and need to give up a pass. And Lucho couldn't even hit a simple 5-yard pass into space for simple midfielders that were like behind the play. He couldn't hit a simple cross or cross the box for Farrington. What puzzles me with Acosta too is he'll hit like the most impossible pass. Like he'll hit a weak foot falling away cross to get on the head for Farrington or Musa, and he can do that all day long. But he can't hit a 5-yard pass to an oncoming midfielder. Tell me how that makes any sense. But like the man is inconsistent. The man is emotionally not invested, or he's to the point where he's so frustrated he's already checked out. Him being on the field doesn't help the team. Him being a part of the club doesn't help the team. He's giving bad influence to our young and upcoming players in his position, i.e. Pedrinho with their incident and stunt, I believe in San Jose or right before San Jose. Like if you can't follow simple freaking rules like a curfew, you're a professional, man. You're getting paid $5 million a year, and you can't be in your hotel room by 9 o'clock. Get over yourself, man. You're not bigger than the club. You need to get the heck out and go back to Argentina where you belong. So, I've had it. I'm done with him.
Yeah, I think if an offer came in that allowed this front office to say, "Oh, we had an offer that Lucho really wanted, and it was just too big of an opportunity," I think they'll pull the trigger on that in an instant. Obviously, I think they want to get back their investment on him. Yeah, he's not been playing, so you bring him in on Friday night, and he looked like a guy who hasn't played in 2 or 3 matches. And it's like, yeah, he looks rusty. He looks like preseason mode. He's not invested. He's not in rhythm. It was a disaster. It was worse than Kappas. Me.
And let's be fair. He got outplayed by Delgado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He did. Delgado. You pull Delgado out, who's having a fine game, and you bring him in to replace him, and the fans notice the drop off. We can't help but notice that there was a drop off at that position with Delgado gone and Acosta in. I'm not the biggest Delgado fan. I don't really praise him that often. I think he's okay. He's a young player who's getting better. But in this game, Delgado was having a good game. He got pulled for Acosta, and frankly, it was one of those. It felt like a bad substitution. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from Quill really quick here. I asked him after the match. I always try to frame my questions in a way that will, be fair. And I know sometimes fans want media folks to ask like, why don't you fire everybody, or like, why don't you just quit? Those kinds of things, which is, no one, it's unanswerable and it's not professional, and especially in a moment like that when, coach is also in their emotions and trying to figure things out. But I just acknowledge, hey, you got Sam Sarver, you got Dietzen on the way, at Kappas, you've made some adjustments to this roster. But some fans wonder if this roster is really built for the way you want to play. And basically, so I asked him how he would respond to that. And this is what he said.
I'm trying to play the best way to win the game. That's how I'm trying to. That's how I would respond to that. I'm trying to take all of the profiles we have, and see and study them to the point now where it's what we have to do to try to win. And so, in these last 3 games, we should have won this game tonight with. I mean, I'm sorry, we should be 3 games unbeaten if we're really being honest, and with the type of goals we just gave it. But I've look, we were playing out of the back a lot, bringing needless errors to ourselves and score lines, and we've kind of eliminated that from because of what it does to the psyche, and so we've gone a little bit more direct because that's what we feel is to win the game, and we're scoring goals doing it. So for me, we've got to figure out why we're giving up these needless goals. Because you just scored 3 goals back-to-back game. It's not style. This is about collective communication, organization, competitiveness, fighting for every moment together, engaging each other, talking from behind, talking next to you. Everybody understanding what togetherness is when you're in the lead and what you need to do to be the winner of the game. And we aren't doing those things to be winners in the game consistently enough. We're showing spurts. Spurts aren't good enough to win consistently. And that's the frustration we all have, players included, is we are frustrated with ourselves that it's not what a team is doing to us, it's what we're doing to ourselves. And we've got to stop doing this if we're really gonna claw back into this thing.
We've got to stop doing it to ourselves, and our dear buddy Marcin.
Hey, Marcin.
And he's putting it out bluntly. He says, "Y'all got a good team. Coaching is hot garbage. This is not new. We've heard this from our buddy before." And he says he's trying. Trying is a gateway to failure, and I brought this up to y'all before. It's coaching. Thanks, Marcin, for the comments there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a broken record to hear Quill. I mean, it's one thing if you're coaching a team, a youth team of kids who are figuring it out. But these guys are all professionals. Yeah, you have some young guys who are at the early stages of their careers. So maybe they're the ones that if they're making the mistakes, you kind of understand like, hey, they're learning the ropes. They're learning the hard lessons. But this is Ibiaga and Abubakar. I mean, this is Ramiro. This is Shaq Moore. These are guys who've been around the block. They have had minutes. They have some mileage. They know the game. And so what the fact that he is repeating this need that the team is just failing to do basic things it just remains it's not a good look for him, in this first season so far. Yeah, and I understand you got to use the roster you have. You've got to try to get something out of the roster you have. You can't just remake the roster in one transfer window, but it's not fun to watch right now.
I also wanted to add that I'm glad that Kappa's got some playing time, but he really did look like a player that had no chemistry with his teammates out there. I don't know if that was because of the position that we're playing him in, but he just couldn't connect simple passes with his teammates. Like I said, he has no chemistry with them. You can't expect him to have chemistry with them right away. And then you bring in Acosta, who only has chemistry with 2 people, and one of them's down in North Texas. And it just, the team played like a team that suddenly their chemistry went out the window once those substitutions were made, and it's hard. You can't help but notice it. I just wanted to say, I like Kappas. He looked like he had no chemistry, and Acosta comes in with lack of chemistry already. It's surprising that we're this far in, and Acosta just can't seem to get chemistry with the rest of the team.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Quill's comments, guys?
I was going to ask you guys what you thought as far as, obviously Quill's getting a lot of blame for this, and I think some of it's definitely warranted with like substitutions and whatnot. But at what point do you kind of start looking inward and being like, maybe this is a result of roster construction as well? Like, there's been no sort of transparency on a center back coming in at any point. Like, but they also haven't wanted to bring anyone up aside from Augusto. So it's like, what is our plan here? I mean, obviously they've gone out and brought up some wing play, but I don't know. Like, it feels like there's kind of a disconnect between the front office and the head coach, and we're seeing that on the field because Quill's now trying to put together a team with like a couple broken pieces. So, I mean, obviously you can't just bring in a guy like Lucho and expect him to fix everything. It feels like there was really a big misstep of why did we not bring a center back in? Why did we not bring in another, I don't know, central defensive midfielder? Like, it just felt like there was a lot of pieces that they just weren't focused on. I don't know what you guys think, but
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean, like, no offense. How on God's green earth are we supposed to compete for even a playoff spot when before the signing of Uragide, our center back depth was Augusto, who was not even professionally proven like in MLS or for our team at all, Abubakar, who was a rotation option in Colorado, and then Ibiaga, who has been, for the lack of better words, complete and utter dog shit for the past 2 years. I'm sorry. I've had it when it comes to Ibiaga. Ibiaga literally was to blame for half of the goal, 2 or 3 of the goal, or all 3 of the goals that LAFC conceded in their MLS Cup final. And Zanata looked at him and said, "You know what? That's the American domestic center back I want for this team. Not paying Aaron Long, which I agree. Aaron Long's contract demands were he was wanting to be a DP for the amount of money we're going to pay him. So I agree not doing that. But there was plenty of other American center backs you could have gotten, and your main attraction to signing Ibiaga for $650K a year, which, by the way, was almost double what Coase was making, and saying that he's a better option than Kosi Tafari will never cease to amaze me. Waiting until we've started the season to bring in a true number 6, and it's not even a quote-unquote professional number 6. It's Kike, who had not played a professional game in his career yet. He had been playing with the U21s, U23s with Ramiro. And you think our new DM's going to be this Ramiro kid, which I say kid, dude is what, 32? For soccer, buddy, you're not going to be able to go box to box in 95 plus, 100 plus, 110 plus degree heat in Frisco, Texas, buddy. Lucho Acosta was a bust. I mean, Ambition, cool, was a bust. I just look at this roster and I wonder why we have so many 8s, but we don't play with 8s. We have so many wing backs and don't play with wing backs. We play Shaq Moore is this weird overlapping, sometimes inverting fullback, and then he'll overlap as a wing back, but no one shifts to pick him up. So it's the tactics all year have 100% been on Quill, but then you also look at how he wants to play recently with this 4-5, with this 3 to 5 back style, and it fits the team a lot better than Nico's 3 back to 5 back style, which is what I like. But I also don't understand, like we were saying earlier, the substitutions. You're mad at Lucho, and Lucho has looked disconnected. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Why is Tiki not getting on the field? I'm gonna rave about him from how he played Saturday with North Texas. He did amazing. He did great. And you look at him play for North Texas, and just you realize he shouldn't be even thinking, oh yeah, let's put him in North Texas to give him some game time. No, you should be thinking, how the heck do I fit him into my starting 11 when he's playing like that? But I don't get Quill. I honestly don't. I try to give the man some time. I try to give the man some respect. Being, affiliated with the club before, coaching with North Texas before, it's to the point now where it's man, you can love a guy in your heart or whatever, but you just, if he's not coaching and not doing the damn job, get rid of him. And it's at the point now where I agree with Chris. I think it's 100% on Zanata too, because we supposedly promoted Zanata, so he's not our technical director anymore. But yet, the only people I've seen talk about our transfers or anything have been Zanata and then Enzo, our European scout. And Enzo has hinted in DMs to, at least to me, I'm not going to leak anyone else's DMs or anything, that there's plenty of targets and there's plenty of talks and interest, but Who, like, where? Like, who? I think the only thing I saw was Matias Rojas for River Plate. I mean, he did well with Miami for like that half season or one season he played, which I wouldn't mind that. He's a 10/right winger, left footed. So if anything, it would for sure leave Bernie on the bench, which I'm ecstatic about. I don't think he should touch the field for Dallas West this season. I'm going to be harsh. Um, and I think he should just go back to North Texas, get some confidence back before he even thinks about coming back to North Texas to FC Dallas. But if he did like an Acosta for Rojas at this point, even though I think we'd be losing value on that, and Rojas wouldn't be as good technically as Acosta, it wouldn't hurt. And I think Rojas would plug in some holes that we need as a 8, a 10, and a winger. So that is my rant over.
All right.
Can also give those
I
opinions.
I
We welcome Marcin to the
look.
not just commenting, but
Hello.
you.
Hey, what's up, Marcin? I
Hey.
blame the ownership. In all honesty, Sonata at the end of the day works for the Hunts, and let's face it, every player that's brought in is brought in as a bargain player. Even our DPS. I mean, sure, we spent $6 million on Acosta, but let's not pretend like we didn't just sell Alan Velasco and basically took that money to, hey, we need to get somebody that DP for that comes in under that amount. Let's face it, this team has always been a bargain team. They look for players they can get at a discount, and it's always going to be that way. You need to have a strong academy and have a strong pipeline if this is the way you're going to go.
Oh,
And this is where choking off the pipeline last year did, the last couple of years did a lot of damage to this team because now those holes can't, the natural holes with you going out and getting, bargain players can't be filled by academy players like in the past, and at least not yet, maybe not for a couple of years. So those holes just become that much, you know, more obvious
I,
to
I'm
everybody.
gonna have to cut in, and obviously, hey, by the way, to anybody, Mr. Man over there in the red shirt, I don't know your name. My name's Marcin. Jose's brother-in-law.
He's a
I'm
Rapids
still
fan.
gonna go back to the coaching thing because that who picks your players.
Yep.
So if they're shaving the money or doing whatever the hell it is, it still goes back to coaching. I think y'all have a great team, and I was rooting for y'all watching this past game. I
Yeah, he
texted
was.
Jose, but then I texted him the next day. I was like, bro, what happened?
Yeah, I
I mean,
agree.
we got our ass kicked too, but at least I knew we were gonna get our ass kicked. But that was a you guys have a good team. You really do, and you have good players. But I think the coaching is the biggest weakness right now. And you guys proved that last year and the year before that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, it's the coaching. It's a lot of pieces, but right now the spotlight's got to be on Quill because that was a winnable game. So, like I
Y'all should
said,
have had that
yeah,
100%.
at home, up 3-2 at halftime. You make, yeah, there's no defending that. That was definitely a game that got away, and I think that's why it hurts the most. We were all thinking, hey, we have a shot here. We're looking good. We can just tighten up the defense, and then none of the stuff that we needed to do got done in the second half. And frankly, if you, I mean, I'm on who scored, but if you look at the ratings of all the players that were brought in, everybody that was brought in other than Sarver, uh, their ratings are all abysmal. They all basically um, they didn't rise to the occasion. And when you're bringing in Acosta, uh, Farfan, Leggett, that's a problem. These are guys that should be able to rise to the occasion, and they didn't. Kappas is new, so you got to give him a pass. And Sarver was just brought in too late. He should have brought he should have been brought in earlier. And honestly, that's where we're at. Is Marshall's right? It's right now when Quill makes bad decisions, it's right there for everybody to see. And in this case, it very much I think we all can agree that it cost us a match that was very winnable.
There we go. There we go. Welcome back, Marcin. Well, and I would think to Chris's question of like, I mean, you bring in a new coach to the team, and it usually does take a couple of seasons, maybe about 3 transfer windows before they at least say, "Hey, we've let go of some contracts. We brought in some guys, the kind of guys that can build around the vision the coach has." And so, it, I think you could argue in that sense that Quill needs a bit more time to put those players. And like this is the really unspoken thread, that they announced earlier. FC Dallas brought in Dietzen, a Haitian winger who looks like a pretty good potential fit for this team. But their lineup just this last week, just Friday, with Logan and Moose up top, doesn't have wingers. It does, so now you have a winger coming in, and unless you think he's going to play wing back, and maybe he can, and maybe that's flexibility there could help. But like, it's a strange situation for them to be in, because I think Musa and Farrington are a great pairing. It could be a great solid attacking duo. They're just dynamic. But yeah, you need wingbacks in. You could use some wingback support. You need a better a central defender who is good with the ball on the feet and can generate some opportunities. Or if you are going to go back with just Musa up top and then 2 wingers and maybe a 10 beneath them, yeah, Dietzen makes sense. And Anderson Julio getting healthy. So it's sort of like Quill, has to decide, and this organization has to decide what they're going to do. And it's going to leave some players out, but otherwise, yeah, they're going to keep signing guys that don't fit if the lineup keeps changing and the vision keeps changing. And I get that Quill needs to win now too. He feels that pressure, but it's a challenge for this team, and it's going to take time.
Other than the coaching, sorry, I'm going to butt in. Quit trying to make it look pretty. Just take the shot. Don't be like Colorado, because I watch them every week, sometimes twice a week, obviously. You know what I mean? But they try to make it look pretty, and there's so many missed opportunities. Just take the shot.
And I agree with that. I think there's such a thing as just being too cute with the ball. And
Yep.
I think we saw that a couple of times where you're like, hey, be selfish, take the shot instead of trying to pass it. It's this team had multiple opportunities in the first half to score more than 3 goals, and that's the difference. That's what separates this team from other teams. Is you got to finish those opportunities. Yes, okay, we scored 3 goals. I'm very happy about that, but let's not pretend we didn't leave several goals on the table. They were there to be had, and the team just wasn't clinical enough. Held on to the ball a little too long in certain spots. It's frustrating.
And there really is a lot of positive too. I mean, Kike is coming along. I mean, I think Delgado, there was a stretch there. We wondered, was he was it a good purchase option? But man, he's great. He's active. He kind of fits what Quill wants. He's all over the place. I mean, there's just a lot of good things now about this roster, but there are also these holes that they really got to focus on, or else it's gonna be more of the same the rest of this season.
I want to add that I don't think that Quill is in the hot seat at all. That's my personal opinion. It's because of the way this team builds their roster. Is they need a manager that's going to come in and is willing to just accept the players that he's given and try to make it work. I think we've seen all our managers before Quill have to deal with that at some point. You're not going to get a manager who comes in who's got a specific system, who wants specific players. The Hunts they're not going to accommodate that. They're going to say, no, you're going to get the best player we can get you at different positions, and you need to make it work. And I feel that's why Quill's not in the hot seat. I feel that he'll be given a lot more leeway, unless the team is facing very early elimination from playoffs. But I think as long as they have a shot to sneak into playoffs, they won't even consider replacing him. And like I said, it's hard to find a manager that's going to come in and just take the players you give them and not put up a fight. And I don't think they'll hire somebody that's combative like that, somebody that's going to demand specific players.
Well, I think you guys definitely have a shot at the playoffs. You're not too far behind. Something just a little bit needs to change. I mean, we're hanging on by a thread right now, literally. But you guys are only like 2 spots behind, so I definitely think you guys can move up. And I would love nothing more than to see FC Dallas and Colorado be at the playoffs again. Come on now.
Yeah.
He wants to go watch a game together if they play against each other. So I'm all for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a mess that that's what's helping Dallas and Colorado is that really the last two spots in the playoffs are going to be up for grabs because there's so many teams that are not pulling away from everybody else, and that gives us hope that this team just need, with a couple of moves can turn it around, and that's why I think that Quill is not in the hot seat because of that.
Well, let's jump over real quick now to and give them some love because we've talked a lot about FC Dallas. Probably didn't expect to talk this much, but hey, North Texas Soccer Club welcomed on Saturday night to Toyota Stadium, CD Tapatio, and two good youth clubs, some of the best in North America, facing off, and it was a fun one. And what was a bit of a surprise was the starting lineup, and not just featuring some of the young core that they've been using so far this season. That has been a little uneven, but turning to guys like Nolan Norris, Siki Sabalang, of course, Sam Sarver got the nod, Tariq Scott, who's been a regular with North Texas. Kalodi got the start in goal. So it was some good familiar faces getting some minutes there. Chris was able to cover the game in person. I'm gonna show some highlights that I was able to download. Chris, and Pedrinho, of course. Pedrinho getting the start, 2 goals, phenomenal performance. This was a fun one, right, Chris?
Yeah, no, I was just about to say, like, Pedrinho was so good out there. I mean, he clearly was the best player, which is surprising because Sam Sarver's been, Mr. North Texas pretty much all season. But Pedrinho looked great. Kalodi actually looked great as well. A little bit more of a quiet performance just because, we had so many offensive chances. But Kalodi looked great. Siki looked great too. He was fun. I mean, getting a couple great assists out there. It was a nice change of pace. I'm not gonna lie. Watching FC Dallas on Friday, being a little depressed, and then going to the North Texas game on Saturday and just seeing the celebration after the game, it was fun. I've got to be honest. They're a fun team to watch right now, and I think my message, at least to FC Dallas fans, is if you're watching these games and you're not seeing North Texas, you got to tune in because, I mean, a lot of the guys that are going to be coming up sooner than later are coming from North Texas.
Yeah, fun stuff. Really, I think Pedrinho's second goal, we could all say was a little bit lucky. It just kind of
A little bit, yeah.
through. But hey, you take him, and good to see Tariq Scott get on there. Jose, you wanted to add?
I was just going to agree with him and say that in years like this when FC Dallas is struggling, it's always nice to be able to tune in and watch North Texas. Win or lose or draw, be a very entertaining team to watch. And I recommend to everybody, go out, watch them play. They're the future, and you don't have to wait a year or two to see some of these players. You can go see them now, and they play like I wish FC Dallas would play. And they're not having the best of years, but they put on a good show and they're competitive in every match.
Yeah, it's fun.
And one thing I want to add on top of that is the energy between the two teams is so different. I mean, Sam Sarver, FC Dallas fans saw hyping everybody up. I mean, it's the same thing with North Texas. I mean, you have guys like, Mo Cisse, saving balls off the back line and just going absolutely bananas because he just made an incredible save. They're fun to watch. And I think it's refreshing to see guys that have bought in for a head coach so heavily and understand that at any point in time, they're going to get a chance to get into the game. So I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more at the FC Dallas level, not to, rag on them too much tonight, but yeah.
Yeah. And I just haven't interacted now with John Gall for a couple of years. You're talking about a coach that can work with the players that he has, but sets a high bar of accountability. And I heard that from Mo Cisse when I interviewed him. It's just like that he's going to say, hey, you did a good game, but he's also going to say, but here are some things you need to work on. That kind of which is maybe what you want for a development coach. Maybe at the next level, that some of those guys don't want to hear that kind of thing because they've been doing it for so long. But it does seem like Gall demands a lot and builds an environment that sets that standard, but also rewards those players who put in the hard work. So yeah, it's he's just lurking there that if things continue to if they get worse for FC Dallas and and they make a change, I mean, Gall's waiting there for a chance. Of course, Michelle is as well, so it'll be interesting to see. But he's done some good things, and especially because they've had some tough moments, and Gall has found ways to get this group of players back, kind of, in form after bouncing back after those tough moments this season. Yeah. And that's the question, by the way, Chris, that I've gotten this week was like, hey, when is Mo Cisse going to get called up to the senior team and get a chance? And I don't think there's any rush to do that, but yet he's there. And when you've got guys like Ibiaga and Abubakar who are just underperforming, what's the hurt of it to give this kid some minutes, right?
Yeah, no, that I literally had that as a note for tonight was why not bring in Mo Cisse? Like at this point with the back line that we've seen, from FC Dallas, it's just been, we need to see some different players back there. If not, they're not going to bring people in from, the transfer window. So, I mean, I'd like to see him play. I think he's got great size. I think he could have covered in, New York City FC a little bit better. He's a little bit faster than I think, Abubakar, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the disconnect there.
Well, they got what, 2 weeks to maybe take a look at some players, and be nice to at least see him get called up to the senior team and get some reps with the senior team and see if he can offer something.
All right.
Yeah.
We got some competing cat thing. Chris, your cat was up earlier. I haven't seen Jose's cat in a bit.
I closed my doors now.
Okay.
So
all right. So
I had two as well. Yeah, I had two of them coming in. But
well, that's right. Yeah, because Leagues Cup is unfolding in Major League Soccer, so that's what FC Dallas has 2 weeks off. So it's another one of these weird gaps that gives the team a chance to maybe regroup some. You look for the positives, and maybe integrate a guy like Dietzen to see how he's going to fit. And yeah, but North Texas will be back in action on Saturday. Let's see. I think they're at home against the Rapids too.
Colorado. Yep.
Yeah, could be a fun one.
Marcin, you better be tuning in.
So I'm gonna try and make it to one of the League Cubs game about 2 weeks from now because it's gonna be here in Colorado. And the one that you're talking about, I did not look too far into the schedule.
they're playing this Thursday actually in Leagues Cup.
Okay.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, they play
I
Thursday
just
and then
don't
they play
remember
again.
the team.
It's Santos Laguna.
Santos Laguna.
Yeah.
And then they play Tijuana on Sunday.
Ooh.
You're at your computer. I'm not. So, I might. And Tijuana on Sunday. Thursday's not happening. Sunday's not happening because work Monday. What's the one after that? I think it's like August 10th or something.
Yeah, let me check real quick because I don't have the full schedule out. Yeah, Thursday, August 7th. Another Thursday.
Okay. Well, that one I can swing.
Is that going to be in Colorado?
I don't know. I'm going to one of them. I made sure I'm going to go to one of them. Like,
I'll be cheering for your team for Leagues Cup because I don't have a team to cheer for in Leagues Cup because my team isn't in it, and I don't really want to cheer for anybody.
Do better.
It'll make Marcin.
Yeah.
I get to cheer for Marcin's team for Leagues Cup at least.
Well, you're coming down here in April anyway, so we can have our match again. So.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
Well,
right now you're 2-0 at home over here, so.
We're aiming to fix it.
I mean, I'm 2-0. Sorry, I'm 2-0.
right. Well, I think we're going to leave it there, guys. So we have a 2-week break for FC Dallas, but North Texas back in action on Saturday at home against the Rapids 2. Should be a fun one. Yeah, Leagues Cup action. Oh, I mean, we didn't get into MLS broader news, but Thomas Mueller to Vancouver, not what any of us had on our bingo card, but like, hey, the Whitecaps are in a great spot. Why not? Why wouldn't a
Wait,
good player want to go there? And Vancouver's a nice spot. That's interesting.
wait, did I, sorry, did I hear that right? What? FC Dallas in Colorado?
No,
Is that what I heard?
No,
No.
you're here.
Oh, North Texas.
Yeah, North
Yeah.
Texas, and the Rapids too are at North Texas on Saturday. But no, we were talking about
You
Thomas
got-
Miller going to the Vancouver Whitecaps, which is a pretty not LAFC, but Vancouver, which is a fascinating.
And Vancouver stuck to their guns, and they had his rights, and they wouldn't give him up. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
Well, no, Cincinnati has Miller's rights,
Oh, I
and
thought
they're
Vancouver
trying to
had
play hardball. Cincy has Miller's rights, and then LAFC is since they can't get Miller, they're going for Hyungmin's son apparently.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I misread that completely.
Crazy here in Southern California. The Korean community is going to come out, but craziness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how that pans out because I hear nothing. I hear nothing but good things about him and how much he's beloved by his Korean people and if they come out in numbers for his games, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if he left Tottenham so I can actually root for him. He's a good guy.
All right. Well, let's leave it
Yeah.
there. All right, everyone. Good night. Thanks, Chris.
All right,
thanks,
guys.
Colin, Jose, Marcin. Thanks for jumping on. Of course,
Appreciate
we'll be
y'all
back.
having me on again.
Hopefully, be back next Monday, and hopefully be in a better place as usual each and every week. But of course, check out afterburn.soccer. I'll be posting some other content here and there throughout the week. Hopefully, some good rumors will also come through this week about a central defender. But we'll see. All right.
Good to see you again,
Good night,
Chris.
everybody.
Give me a buyout, please.